It is my dubious honour to be in charge of the group of exciting volunteers who will dismantle this locomotive you see behind me, and with the kind aid of the Heritage Lottery Fund,
we're going to produce a locomotive that looked and is as near as it was when it left the works in Kassel in Germany in 1918.
As far as Thomas Edmonson is concerned, it's got a very interesting history. What a lot of people don't realise is that during the First World War, most of the supplies to the frontline troops were carried by rail. That's distinct to now when it's carried by heavy lorries. But in the First World War, there were a large number of areas where both sides dug trenches, and for many months the actual area of the warfare didn't change. The people used the trenches, and these were served by, in some cases, became almost permanent narrow gauge railway lines. The French tended to use meter gauge, but the British and Germans both used a narrower gauge. Advantage of narrow gauge is it's light, it can be moved around quickly, and it will go around sharp curves and up steep hills. So it's ideal for supplying frontline troops. There were other railways which were much longer, and one of them was the Tigris Kriegsbahn, which was the alternative route to Baghdad. And that was where Thomas Engine was supposed to operate. A second batch of locomotives built to a standard 040 tank German Army military design was ordered in 1918. The first batch was already operating on the railway, second batch was required to increase the capacity, and Thomas Edmonson was one of that batch. It was never actually delivered to Turkey. Its manufacturer's number, as you can see, was 16047, and it should have received the Tigris Kriegsbahn or TBK number of 125. It was stored in a field in the Eisenbahn depot at Frankfurt, and then it was one of a batch of 20 similar locomotives that was sold to the Spanish military. They wanted to use it for their campaign in Morocco, the Rif campaign in Morocco. And it was transported from Germany to Morocco, where it served for a considerable length of time. Very actively involved, and it's got shrapnel scars to prove it. At the end of the Rif campaign, the locomotive was taken to mainland Spain and went to the Cuatro Vientos military base outside Madrid and was used for training purposes there. I believe it was used for training crews during the Spanish Civil War. The military ceased to use these locomotives after the war, and in 1962 it was sold to the Minas y Ferrocarril Utrilis company, which had mines and narrow gauge railways in the north of Spain in a place called the Teruel region. And the railways was used to carry coal from the mines to the distribution depot. The railway actually closed shortly after these locomotives were bought in 1966, but instead of selling them or scrapping them, they just left them in the shed, and they remained there for many years. One of our members discovered they were there, and two of our people went over to see if we could purchase a suitable locomotive for use on the railway.